The first ever Minecraft theme park is opening in London 2027, but we already know what's going to be in it because of the photos they've released. First of all, the entrance looks cool, but we can actually see benches and a serving building, which is likely where the Minecraft themed food and drink will be. The gift shop doesn't look crazy at first glance, but what is that? There's something in a glass case that we can buy that doesn't look like a villager, could be a totem, might even be a new mob. We'll also get pillows, plushies, and keyrings. But most importantly, the first ever Minecraft roller coaster, which has a cool waiting room, ventures into a cave where we all get blown up, and seemingly we go to the nether. But I actually think this is a separate roller coaster, because we'd either have to go through a nether portal while riding the coaster, which is possible, but there's a nether cafe, which makes me think there could actually be a whole section of the park that's in the nether, which is where this coaster is found. Since the sulfur caves can now spawn on the surface, I've been thinking, is it possible to make a sulfur cube farm? Since sulfur cubes are going to be needed in mass quantity for things like vacuums or flight bombers, what's the best way to get them? Well, I originally thought making a simple spawning platform style farm on the surface would be efficient, until I realized that the player needs to be near the farm to bucket up the cubes. But then I realized this whole update doesn't even matter in terms of farming, because sulfur cubes already have the best farming feature. They can split in two, then grow up. So if we just build a very simple structure that suffocates them when they grow up, have one side for the new babies to grow and another where the cubes be collected, we can just farm sulfur cubes infinitely. PvP Legacy is the best PvP Minecraft server, is what I said 3 years ago.
Yeah, and you're an idiot! PvP Legacy was the best server, but so many new servers have gained popularity in the past 3 years, you idiot!
Fine, you plonk! Actually, you're right. Whilst PvP Legacy is good, 3 new servers have not only gained massive popularity, but overtaken the player count of PvP Legacy. Those being PvP Club, Hoplite, and Mindmen. But which one's the best? Well, a good PvP server not only needs to be good at regular PvP, but have good overall kits and game modes to count as the best, as well as a high enough player count to consistently get the players into duels so they don't have to wait around. And PvP Club is really easy to navigate, but only have 8 kits in their duels and a lower player count than the others, Hoplite and Mindmen. So between those, which is the best? Well, Hoplite has a really good duel system, loads of kits, a great player count, and their main attraction is of course the Royale game mode. But Mindmen I think is the best, having the most kits at 21, the highest player count, and a super easy menu to navigate. There are now so many ways to keep a mob from despawning because of the tiny takeover update, but what's the most efficient? Well, the golden dandelion when used on a mob prevents it from aging, but also makes it persistent, and it's a pretty cheap crafting recipe. The name tag is also the most used method, and is now cheaper, costing only a nugget and paper. Leads, which only cost 5 string, have had a bug fix in the latest pre-release where they now make mobs persistent again, but by far the most efficient is the boat. I mean, are you surprised? It costs 5 planks. You might think this is the longest item name with 41 characters, being Waxed Lightly Weathered Cut Copper Stairs, but its name was changed in 1.17 to be Waxed Exposed Cut Copper Stairs. So what is the longest item name? Well, the current holder is actually a misconception, the Lingering Potion of Turtle Master 2 at 40 characters, but the Roman numerals 2 doesn't actually exist in the name. However, it's still the longest at 37 even without the 2, unless you're in Education Edition, because they have custom items including Hardened Light Grey Stained Glass Pane, with just 1 more character at 38. What's the rarest username in Minecraft? There's a name that probably springs to your mind immediately, Notch. And that's because Notch is the only name in all of Minecraft with an ability tied to it, where anyone called Notch will drop an apple on death. But that's actually a lie. That feature was removed in 2012. So what is the rarest username? Well, the shorter we make a username, the rarer it becomes. And since Minecraft usernames can be a minimum of 3 characters, there are only around 17,000 usernames with just 3 letters. But this wasn't always the case. In very early development of Minecraft, usernames could be less than 3 characters, with famous accounts like F or 8 being bought and sold for thousands of dollars. But the rarest username is this player here. Don't recognize him? I'm not surprised, but his username is definitely a word you'll recognize. When will Minecraft run out of usernames? You might think that's impossible and that Mojang just wouldn't let that happen. But because each username can only be used for a single account, eventually will run out. But when will that happen?
I don't know, like 100 years?
No, that's way too soon, you plonker.
Okay, fine, 1,000,000 years. Happy?
Again, that's too soon. A Minecraft name, whilst it doesn't say on the menu, can have at max 16 characters and a minimum of 3, which can be one of 26 letters, 10 numbers, or underscores. And if we do the maths, that's 12.6 septillion usernames, and only a measly 700 million exist. At this rate, it would take 252 quadrillion years to run out of usernames, but at only 5 billion, the sun will die, and the universe itself has only existed for this long. So we won't run out for a while. If you've ever tried to move a zombie villager while it's being cured, you might have noticed that it does a lot of damage. But why? You've splashed it with weakness. Well, to cure a zombie villager, you either have to kill a villager with a zombie, which on hard mode always happens, on normal has a 50% chance of turning them, or they just die, and on easy, they always get killed by zombies, preventing you from turning them, or they can spawn naturally. From there, if you splash them with a weakness potion, they will do no damage, but they aren't being cured, because you have to feed them a golden apple, and in doing so, the curing process has begun, and they'll become a villager again, but you'll notice the particles turn orange, and that's because the weakness potion has been turned to a strength potion, which makes the zombie villager do loads of damage. Everyone is talking about dynamic lighting coming to vanilla Minecraft because of the April Fool's Herdcraft update. What do you mean I'm 5 days late? But no one has talked about why dynamic lighting is coming, and it's so obvious. If you spend 3 hours in the April Fool's update to craft a torch and make it follow you around, you'll see that the light moves with it, which doesn't happen in regular Minecraft. But the Mojang team coded it into vanilla Minecraft. But why? Do you really think they'd spend this long on such a substantial feature? Not to mention, it works really well just for an April Fool's joke. Maybe, actually. But it could be that as Vibrant Visuals comes to Java, we get dynamic lighting. No, because the rendering engine is completely changing for that. Instead, I think it's for the Sulfur Cube update. So many players have asked for new Sulfur Cube features, including dynamic lighting, and it's obvious Mojang are going to add more Sulfur Cube stuff, so I think when we do see the Sulfur Cube in Java, we'll have dynamic lighting. I was scrolling on Reddit, and I just found the best Minecraft project of all time. It's called Foundation by this user, and it adds all the missing variants in the game, like tiled stone or chiseled andesite. But it adds these blocks in a way that's just so intuitive and pretty. And Mojang, why can't you do this yourself? This witch can take 100 hits from the warden, even though it has no resistance and no armor. And you'll probably assume it's just because the witch can heal itself with instant health potions, but you'd be wrong, you plonker, because the healing potion only does 2 hearts of healing, and the sonic boom does a minimum of 8 hearts, so the witch would be out-damaged if it relied on its healing potions. And like I said previously, it has no resistance or other armor. The real reason it can survive is because for some reason, it has natural-born resistance to magic attacks. On Java, it takes 85% less damage from magic attacks, and on Bedrock, 95% less damage. And these magic attacks include a variety of things, including poison, instant damage, evoker fangs, thorns, and the warden's sonic boom, meaning it's impossible to kill a witch with any of these attacks because it does too little damage to offset the witch's healing potions, making it immune to its friendlies in a raid and to a warden's shriek. Wither skeletons have a secret ability that makes them overpowered, and it's not giving you a wither effect. How is that a secret, you plonker? Instead, it happens if they pick up a bow, which is actually impossible, as they're hard-coded to never pick up bows, only better-tiered melee weapons. But if you spawn one in with a bow, it will shoot flaming arrows despite the bow not even having flame. And just to top it off, if you put a tipped arrow in their offhand, they shoot the tipped arrow infinitely without ever consuming it. Wool is supposed to be the one thing in Minecraft that can stop a vibration, but it's broken. Every mob in Minecraft, if it lands on wool, doesn't set off a skulk sensor. This is because wool is designed to occlude vibrations.
So how is it broken?
Shut up, you plonker, I'm getting there. There's one mob in the game where this rule doesn't apply, the sulfur cube. On its own, when it bounces around, it's fine, but the moment you put a block in it, apparently it becomes noisy, even on wool. What's worse, if you put wool inside it and it bounces on wool, it still sets off the sensor.